Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining me. This is today's Sales Q&A Live, and this is where I gather questions from people all over and over time, and then I share the answers with them and with you. And today's first question, comes from Rachel. And Rachel asks, what do I do if reaching out to people is way out of my comfort zone? So it's something that I tend to avoid doing. My answer is, I get it. It's out of a lot of people's comfort zone. I personally think that part of the reason that it is uncomfortable is because we think we're supposed to sell to them in that outreach, that, we're supposed to be so convincing and persuading and eloquent that they're just going to be bowled over and they're going to want to do business with us. So we put all this pressure on ourselves that we have to do a certain thing. We have to behave in a certain way. And heck, it's a lot of pressure. And especially when it's something that isn't, we're not doing it all the time. Maybe we never did it before we, started a business. That can be pretty crazy. So what do you do? I'll tell you what I think you do. I think you have options. First of all, I think you want to create a process that is comfortable, a process that you will be able to engage in and break it down into really small steps and then commit to, doing one small step at a time. I think that makes it more manageable. The other part of that is, a process that feels comfortable to you. So I'm going to offer a couple of thoughts. The first one is that you don't have to be convincing. You don't have to be overly eloquent. Quite frankly, let's get that thought out of our heads. Let's just stop with that. Let's instead think about wanting to learn, wanting to see if it makes sense to build a relationship, wanting to get to know that prospect or that, someone we met at a networking event, whatever it is. And then think about, okay, so what would be comfortable? Getting a warm introduction would be comfortable because then they would be more likely to take the call or, schedule the meeting, the time for discussion. So one of the things I want you to really hold on to is that you're not going to sell them anything at any time. You're going to have a conversation with them. You're going to get to know them. They're going to get a chance to get to know you. And if it makes sense, if they need what you have to offer and they need it now, and it makes sense for them to engage in business with you, you're both going to know it. If that's going to happen naturally, you're going to have that conversation. So that's just not your goal. Your goal is to learn. Your goal is to have a conversation. And you can even, when you do your outreach, say, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I just really like to learn about what you've got going on over there. And, if I can help you, I'll tell you. If I can't, I won't. I mean, I won't tell you. If I can't, I'll tell you that I can't. Okay? So let's shift our focus and our goal, and that might make it a little easier as well. So getting back to warm introduction. When I talk about, breaking this down into steps, I can go all the way back to the step of, you need to be networking. You need to be engaging with people to build business relationships, not sales, so that you have a community around your business, so that then when you go to do outreach, you can find out if there's anyone in your community, in your network, who knows the people in your target market, and can they introduce you to them? Because then you're reaching out, someone else is saying, hey, so-and-so would like to talk to you. Would you take their call? And it's a whole trust factor. The other thing you can do is, If you're uncomfortable just doing cold outreach and you don't have a connection, you can send an introductory letter. It's very short. It asks a couple questions to get them to think, and then you just suggest a meeting, a conversation, and you tell them you're going to follow up with them. You don't leave it up to them to follow up with you. That's one of the cardinal rules, okay? You don't want to say, hey, if this sounds good, give me a buzz. You also don't want to do it via email. This is the kind of thing that should be done through regular mail, snail mail. Handwrite the envelope, put a stamp on it, send it, and then a couple days later, call. You're calling to follow up on the information that you sent. So for me, this really alleviates a lot of the stress and the discomfort of, how do you get through the gatekeeper and whatnot. And it requires a strategy, a process, putting it on the calendar that you're going to do certain things. You're going to do follow-up. You're going to engage in conversations with people, and you're going to do your research. Take the time to learn about these companies or people before you do any sort of outreach, so that then when you do, you have something to talk to them about that's specific to them. So they can see that you've taken the time to learn about them, that you're, really interested in, in them specifically, not just anyone who fits certain demographics. So I really think that when we break it up into little pieces and we commit to doing one little piece at a time, and we create a structure that feels more comfortable, then we end up in a better place, and we realize it doesn't kill us, and we actually start getting results. And so then it's a matter of continuing to do it, even when things start rolling and we start getting busy. Okay. So I hope that answers the question of, what if I do not like the idea of doing outreach? What if it is outside of my comfort zone? And before I move on to our next question, which is related to this somewhat, I am going to say that, hey, feel free to send me a question through email or through my Facebook page, wherever. Tell me what you're struggling with, and then tune in weeks to come, and you'll be able to see the answer. So the second question comes from Charlie, and Charlie was challenged with, he had a lot of business, things were going great, life was good. He was really, cooking on all burners, and then a couple assignments completed, and he all of a sudden found himself without a pipeline, without any opportunities, anything in the funnel, anything pending. And so his question was, okay, so how do I ramp back up, and how do I ensure that this doesn't happen again? So it's, a two-part question. And so first of all, part of the reason why I want you to create a structure and a process is so that this doesn't happen, so that no matter how busy you get, you still have this commitment on your calendar that you are just going to do these things on a consistent basis, no matter how busy you are. Because you don't want to have to keep reinventing the wheel. You don't want to have to keep starting that engine up again. If for no other reason than activity breeds momentum, well, a lack of activity creates a void. So you want that momentum to be consistent. And the only way it's going to be is if you're consistent. So create your strategy and your process, put it on your calendar, make it recurring events so it is happening on a regular basis. And you'll find that you won't end up in those lulls. Now, if you're wondering to yourself, okay, that's great, but if I have a lot of business, then I can't take on anymore, that's okay too. You can have those conversations with people, because part of what you need to know is what's their timeline. It's also one of the reasons why you need to be building relationships with other people within your industry and without, so that if you can't take something on and it is, a more urgent need, you can refer them to somebody who can help them. So it's all good every way around. They'll respect you more. You'll be able to help them, just won't be with what you're doing, but you can keep the engine going. Charlie, as far as, ramping back up, you just got to get back to activity. You got to create your process and your structure. You got to start actually doing outreach. Reach out to people who you have networked with over the years just to catch up, just to see what's going on with them. How have they fared, through the past year and a half? What's been going on with them? What kind of things do they need? Or, what are they hoping to achieve over the years moving forward? Reach out to past clients to see how they are. You can reach out to past prospects, and you can create a process for doing prospecting where you are doing outreach again. The key for me is activity. I had a conversation with a gentleman a couple weeks ago about this very thing. And, his concern was that his cash flow was dwindling, and he just, wasn't really, it was crickets. He just really wasn't sure what to do. And so we talked about it, and I told him exactly what I'm telling you, and followed up with them just recently. And he's getting a lot of conversations going, and he's been getting some introductions to people. And it's from those conversations with people who actually have been in his community and in his network for years. He just wasn't really engaging with them. So, people don't know that you're available for business if you don't tell them, and you're not top of mind with them. So, they're not sitting around thinking about you when things come up. You gotta be having those conversations and approach with a mind toward helping them. Do the outreach to find out what's going on with them so you can help them. Because when your mindset is on how can I help you, that's when you're more present and engaging. And that's when the conversation's gonna go backward to how can they help you, and what are you looking for, and what's going on with you. And then it's just, it's mutual. So you have these relationships, you've had them in the past. Some of them fall off from time to time. And so there's real value in just picking it back up and reaching out to people and saying, hey, I haven't talked to you in a while. Just wanted to see how you were doing. What's going on in your world? Let's have a coffee chat sort of thing. Okay. So, give it a shot, give both those. And you can see they are related, because it's about creating a structure and a system, and then just working the system consistently, that system is on your calendar, and you break it down into little pieces, and you just keep going, because that's the way you're going to get that momentum and get things popping. You'll notice that people come out of the blue. Opportunities will come up that you weren't even pursuing, but because of everything else that you're doing, you're creating that energy around your business. Okay. Now, more answers like these are available in Succeed Without Selling on Amazon and wherever books are sold. And I am going to, there you go. There's a short link for you for the Amazon version of the book if you would like to check it out. You can go to my website and download a free chapter, or you can reach out to me and for a complimentary phone consultation so we can chat about whatever is going on. Or you can email me or message me on Facebook or LinkedIn or wherever we are connected and give me your question. I won't use your full name, so no one will know who you are, but I would love to be able to answer your question, because guess what? If you've got the question, so do other people. So you're doing them a favor by being bold enough to ask it, And I would love to be able to answer it for you and give you a way to go. So head on out there, do something forward moving and positive in your business, and stay in touch. Let me know what questions you have. I hope that these questions were of value for you, more so the answers than the questions. Bye-bye.